Hello and welcome back to the Second City podcast with me, Callum Byrne.
And me, Daniel Sketchley.
Well, I hope you enjoyed the opening day of the Premier League and, of course, Birmingham City's first away game of the season. We've got another jam-packed show for you today where we'll look back at all of those, including our trip to Adams Park. Where does Adams Park rate on the away day spectrum, I guess? We'll also take a little look on some of the other teams in the West Midlands, how they got on over the weekend. Coventry were on Sky Sports on Friday night. Wolves took on Arsenal at the Emirates on Saturday, and Walsall were also in action along with Solihull Moors as well. Has Tim Flowers kept his job? That's the big question as well, and we will answer that.
Yes, that'll be a weekly segment, Mystery of
Yeah.
Tim Flowers. And where is he at?
But Dan, how are you? Obviously, it's only a few days since I saw you, but for everyone listening and watching, how has your week been?
Yeah, good, thank you. Good. Are you okay, first of all, as well? You all good?
Yeah,
In the
I mean the weekend has meant I've had a very good few days. I'm in great
Very true,
spirits.
yeah. Yeah, true. Because so we obviously saw each other on Saturday. Because we went to what's the last game? Oh no, I suppose these two Wycombe games, they're the only football games we've ever been to together.
Oh,
Probably is, isn't it? It probably is.
yeah, yeah, it
Yeah, it
must
must be.
be.
So like
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The EFL
for
trophy is the only one that
context,
comes to mind. Yeah.
yeah, so for context, Callum lives down near High Wycombe. So we met one of our other mates, and I went down with the Blues fans, and then we went for a few beers. Obviously, Callum sat in the home end,
Yeah.
and I sat in the away end, obviously. But we were pretty close to each other. Right? We could literally
Yeah.
make eye contact for a lot of the game, and
Yeah.
so I was giving you all levels of dogs
Yeah.
abuse, I'm
We did. We
sure.
did. We did get told off by a steward just before kickoff
Yeah,
for
you're telling me, yeah.
yeah, I don't know whether it was because for like waving to you in the away end. I think they might have thought we were Blues fans, which is possibly what it was. Not that there was
Right,
any
right.
trouble that was going to happen in, especially the stand we
Yeah,
were at in
yeah.
Adams Park. But it was like, I can tell you've got friends in there. Don't make it too obvious. Like, not
Yeah,
like
that makes sense then.
like
Yeah, because
we're
I
not
suppose that
Blues
makes sense.
fans. Like, but
Sure, I can understand why you'd think that. But yeah, no, really good day, obviously for me especially. First away I've been to in ages. But we'll get onto all that later. I'm pretty sure I didn't get to see you after the game, but I'm pretty sure you had a good time afterwards as well, watching the Villa game.
yeah. It was funny actually because we watched it in the pub we were in pre-match, but there was a lot of Blues fans in there. So obviously, when Villa took the lead after like 3 minutes, it's like
Yeah,
subdued celebrations.
yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine. But we'll get on to all of that very soon. Should we start as we always do with what we're wearing?
Yeah, I mean, before we talk about the shirt you're wearing, have you got three shirts from the same season in a line behind you?
Uh, yeah, possibly actually. For those, yeah, actually, that might be. It's unintentional, but yeah, I kind of
Is
just
it?
like a. For those who listen, just in the background, I have a few, a few old blue shirts behind me just for set decoration. But yeah, no, no. So this green one, I'm not gonna
Yeah,
tell you. I'm not gonna tell you what it is because I'm gonna wear it soon.
yeah.
I haven't worn that one yet. That's the home one from last season. No, from 2 seasons ago, from the John Eustace season. So. Yeah, I think. Well, a spoiler alert for the green one. They're the same season. Hopefully you'll forget that the next time I tell you. But this red one is from the Karanka season, which I
Ah,
wore a few months ago, and then this is an Adidas one from the Gary Monk
yeah.
season. But what am I wearing today, Cal? What is this? It's a
Oh,
black Diodora sponsor Easy Group with a
black
pink
and
trim.
pink.
Yeah,
You know what?
with a
I really
collar.
like. I take the badge off it. I like that shirt. That's a really nice
Sure.
shirt.
Yeah.
Tricky because my initial thought when we sat down this afternoon was somewhere around um the early 2010s, but the Diodora means it's earlier than that. So I have a feeling this was a championship kit, not a Premier League kit. Trying to work out what's on is that a sponsor on the sleeves or is that the
No, it's
Diodora
the
swoosh or
Diodora
something?
logo.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The
Um,
badge is in pink as well, which is an interesting touch.
yeah, arguably before its time, the badge being in coloured in with the kit.
Hmm.
Um, oh, I don't know. Um, 0506 away.
So you're quite a way off, quite a way off. Your
Yeah.
original guess was actually you were closer. This is 12-13 away.
The
So
Diodora threw me right off. Because I think
yeah,
if you'd have covered the Diodora up, I would have gone for like an 11-12, possibly.
yeah, I think I remember at the time when they came along, it was like, oh really, Deodora's still making like kits, but they came in as our kit maker this year, and they absolutely knocked it out of the park. I wore the home one a few months ago, and it's like the same kind of style, obviously just in blue and with like sort of dark blue trim on it. And then we also had a third kit this season, which is the same as this, only the colours are reversed, so it's a mainly pink kit with the black trim on it.
Yeah, I think that
Um,
rings a bell.
and that's a risk, it's a risk. But all three of them were wicked, and I never got any of them at the time. I don't know why. I don't know why. I just didn't. I don't know. I had the odd season where I didn't buy one, even as a kid or as a teenager. But yeah, they're all really nice kits. So shout out to Pierce for lending me this one because it is a lovely shirt. Um, Lee Clark's first season at Blues. That's onto the bad stuff, the football.
Yeah.
Although to be fair, I think in retrospect, this season is not actually considered that bad. It was kind of when the season happened. So yeah, 2012-13. So I was like 15. Um, and at the time, it was like the lowest I'd ever seen Blues finish. It was the first season where I'd seen us in the championship, but not challenging for promotion. We basically, I think we finished 12th, and that kind of was thanks to a late kind of surge towards the end of the season. We were actually kind of like in the bottom half for basically the whole season. And this was after like the Chris Hughton season the year before, where we were in the Europa League and we're actually really promising for a lot of the season and were unlucky not to go back up. So yeah, in contrast, this season felt like a disappointment. Some really bad games. I think the first game I went to this season we lost 5-0 at home to Barnsley. I've almost certainly talked about it before. Craig Davies scored four. That was just unbelievable, like just shockingly bad. One of the worst Blues performances I've ever seen, ever. We lost 5-2 away at Hull, I believe, in one game. We lost 3-2 at home to Dean Saunders, soon to be relegated Wolves, and I believe we were 3-0 down. Um, Wes Thomas, who otherwise I didn't mind as a player, but he had genuinely one of the worst individual performances I've ever seen from a Blues player that day. He missed. I would have scored probably a hat trick if you'd given me the chances he'd had, and I'm not a player at all. Um, but yeah, as I say, we had some good memories. Beat Crystal Palace 4-0 away, who went on to win the league. So that was pretty memorable. Had a great Friday night win against Middlesbrough around Christmas time. And we still had like I remember at the time it felt like it was obvious kind of some bad times were coming. Really went we finished like 21st the following year. And a lot of good players left after this. So I think in hindsight, I actually look back on it it was Jack Butland's season at Blues when he was really young and he absolutely smashed it. Nathan Redmond was still with us. Ravel Morrison was on loan with us this season. Um, so, looking back, it wasn't all bad, but we also had some really weird players. We had like Leroy Lita came. It was a season where we just had players come in for like a month because of the transfer and the financial situation and all that. Yeah, Leroy Lita came in on loan for like a month. We had a right back. What was his
The
name?
streets will never forget.
The streets will never forget. Who's that? It was a right back we had come in for literally. Hayden Mullins came in this year. Darren Ambrose came in and played like 10 minutes. James Hurst, that's his name, was that right back who could tell you absolutely nothing. Came in for exactly 28 days. Rob Hall, Ollie Lee, Ben Gordon. Correct me, Blues fans, if you have actually heard of some of these players or remember their names at all, because I don't. Because they just came and went so quick. That was the kind of season it was. But yeah, this is 12-13 away. Lovely kit. Lovely, lovely kit. Wouldn't mind a more modern remake. 10 years, 10, 12 years on.
What do you think of this one? This nice white shirt with claret
Um,
pinstripes. It is unsurprisingly a remake of the 1982 winning kit, but made by Macron.
yeah, so it's like white with claret pinstripes. Daffabet, the sponsor. It's got to be like mid 2010s. Uh, I have a feeling you've said before you don't own any kits from this season, but I think like 2015 away comes to mind. 2015-16 away is what it looks like. But I have a feeling you don't own any kits from that year. So but maybe you've bought it since. I don't know. I'm gonna say it. 2015-16 away. That's my guess.
I don't own any kits from the relegation
Oh, okay.
season.
Okay. Was it the year
If I
before? Year before?
or it is the year before,
Oh, okay.
14-15 away. There's a really
Yeah.
nice embossed detail on the back of the shirt as well. I think it's got the old circle badge like embossed. So you can like even if I held it up now, you probably wouldn't see it, but if you had the shirt in person, then you'd see it. It's a nice little detail. Um yeah, it's really weird because the 14-15 didn't really have like any there's no landmark anniversary to remake the 1982 winning kit. So when the 40th anniversary rolled around a couple of years ago, we had the Kappa remake, which is also excellent as well. Um, but in terms of the season, we obviously started the season with Paul Lambert in charge and ended the season with Super Tim Sherwood as the man to lead us into an FA Cup final. Um, yeah, it's
God,
funny.
yeah, I forget about that,
Yeah,
honestly. I forget about that.
it's funny though because you're talking about maybe that season in that blue shirt, how yeah, it was maybe the lowest you'd seen them, and you thought, oh my god, you didn't realize how good it was compared to what was coming next. So I mean, I look back on that season and I kind of have fond memories of it because the back end of the season under Tim Sherwood was a lot of fun. Um, the first half of the season was very bad under Paul Lambert. Um, Style of play, the results, yeah, it just all came to a head, and with him getting sacked, I think in the January. We just have. I remember wearing Christian Benteke scored a really good goal in this kit away at Crystal Palace midweek. We won 1-0, and Neil Warnock, I think, was the Crystal Palace manager, and he said
Oh,
after the
wow.
game, he was like, "God, I wish we had a Christian Benteke." Little did he know that he'd be a Crystal
Yeah.
Palace player in like 2 years, 3 years.
And
Um,
Warnock would not be his manager.
No.
Unfortunately.
Sam Allardyce was though.
Yeah, yeah.
Later down the line,
Mm,
I think Pardew bought him, didn't he?
yeah.
Um, but yeah, we had a great bit of fun under Tim Sherwood at the end of the year. We had a pretty good run, especially in the FA Cup. But we had some really good results in the league. We beat West Ham at home. We beat West Brom twice in a week at Villa Park. One in the cup, one in the league. Um, one of the like most heart attack inducing games I've ever been at was the first one, the league game, must win fixture against West Brom. And we went a goal up, and then Saido Berahino equalised, and we got a penalty in like the 89th minute. And Benteke took the penalty, and like almost couldn't even watch the penalty. I think it's the like my dad couldn't watch the penalty. Like it was just so stressful, and like Christian Benteke, cool as you like, just like walked up and just knocked it in the far corner. Tim Sherwood like checking his pulse on the pitch after the game, like unreal
Yeah.
times. But sadly, we didn't win the FA Cup. We still haven't won it since this season, 1957. So maybe this year. Um, but yeah, 14-15 away.
Fair enough, fair enough. Yeah, of course you have no real experience at all of winning a cup at all, sadly, do you? Very sad.
Lots.
But
Hey, we won the Cup of Traditions in pre-season a few years ago.
oh
The
my,
Peace Cup,
blimey.
the
Peace Cup,
playoffs,
yes. All the big ones, yeah. All the majors there. All the majors. I'm sure you beat
the, ho
Arsenal in
the
the
Holy
final of a few of
Trinity.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah, what a treble that
Well,
is,
we
yeah.
beat Juventus in the
Uh,
Peace Cup, so this is like
mm,
2008, so or
sure,
maybe
sure. In front of
2010.
in front of a crowd of 12, probably. But yeah. Uh,
Anyway,
awesome. Shall we get into the away day? We touched on it earlier.
yeah,
Uh, Yeah, I'm gonna want to know how it was for you being sat right near the because I've got a great video and I'll try post it on YouTube as like a short or something.
yeah, get on TikTok.
Um, yeah, a great video of all the Blues fans singing shit on the Villa and I'm panning along it and they're just zooming on you,
Yeah,
this anonymous man in the home end, kind of head down, like
yeah.
But yeah,
Um,
what do you think of the game? Obviously, Blues won 3-2 for context against Wycombe.
yeah. I mean, closer game than I was expecting.
Mm,
Because I did think Blues would probably win quite comfortably. Wycombe are kind of a mid-table League One team, bar that crazy year where they sneaked into the playoffs on a points per game.
yeah, Gareth
COVID,
Ainsworth. Yeah.
yeah, that they weren't in the playoffs, but points per game put them in the playoffs, and then they won the playoffs and
Yeah.
got promoted, and very, very nearly stayed up in the championship. They were very close to staying up. Albeit I think Derby had their points deduction and Sheffield Wednesday had a points deduction, but they very nearly stayed in the league. Um, but yeah, I mean, what I will say is Wycombe don't play attractive football in this.
No.
That literally, I think there was three occasions the Wycombe goalkeeper had a goal kick uh, out of his hands and booted it so far it missed every single player and landed in the gloves of Bailey Peacock Farrell.
Yeah, I
It made
think
me really appreciate even the bad Premier League matches where even like you might say a Sean Dyche's Everton play like a hoofball. They don't play a hoofball like what Wycombe Wanderers play.
yeah. Yeah. So for context, you were obviously you were in the home, but you were slightly higher up. I was on like the second
Yeah.
row, kind of nearby, like almost behind the goal.
But I wasn't that
So
high up,
close.
maybe like,
Sure, but
yeah,
you had a slightly more elevated view of the pitch. I
yeah,
was like solo down. The sun was in my eye. Like, don't be wrong, it was a great away down. I love being out in the sun, but like it was, I kind of was. When you're that low down, you don't really have much of a sense of like
yeah.
formation or that kind of stuff. If you know what I mean, especially not down the other end of the pitch. In fact, I was so close to the goal that on the second goal, I was actually like in
You're in the
the
Sky
huddle
Sports
at that.
highlights.
I was, yes, celebrating with Yokoyama and Luke Harris and all them. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, I completely agree. And in contrast, Blues were very risque coming out from the back, weren't we?
Yeah.
A
It
few
was it was two very
close
contrasting
calls.
styles. You obviously want to play out from the back, and to be
Mm,
honest, of all the League One pitches you're going to play on this year, it was definitely one of the better ones. I thought it was a fun. I
mm.
mean, Adams Park, what a ground! What a cool
Yeah,
little
it's
ground.
yeah, it is. It's very kind of old school in that like half of the stadium is like could be like at Blues in terms of how it's built, and then half of it is like Bromsgrove. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's like
yeah,
and so that's what kind of all the stuff I'm enjoying about League One. I'm going to enjoy about it. Like it's really weird. Like, and you get some proper weirdos at these games, but
yeah.
like some guy was shouting, a Blues fan, like this middle-aged guy shouting at the players during the warm-up. The only one who seemed to react to notice it was Pek Sung Ho of all people. And this guy shouting like, "Look at the state of it! Look at the state! It's a shithole! Get us out of it!" And I'm like, "What? What are you talking about, dude? Like, jeez, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like again, I said before, we're here on merit. Like, let's
yeah.
not get too big-headed about it. But yeah, anyway, a few kind of Blues fully going for like the playing out from the back style and a few real close calls. So it's not a surprise that the game ended like 3-2 and there were as many
Yeah.
goals as there was. Um, but equally, I was really impressed with how calm we would be getting the ball out. Like, there's a point where we give the ball away in the first half down the end we were at.
Mhm.
And I think it was Mark Leonard who just spotted an opportunity to to tackle and get the ball back. Really calm, no diving in, no silly tackle, just calmly won the ball back and played it out again. And there was like a similar moment in the second half where Blues played it out beautifully, and Pek Sung Ho just unfortunately took a big touch, and it meant the ball. I can't remember who it was, but it fell to a Wycombe striker, and he just dragged the shot wide. This was down the opposite end of the pitch to us, and I'm like, a better striker there takes full advantage of us slipping up from playing out the back there. So I think that's how the first few. I can see that there will be
Yeah.
times like this season we will concede silly goals this year,
But
but
the benefits
yeah,
outweigh the stupid goals that you'll concede here and there.
yeah, I thought once we got going, especially in the second half, it was just fun to watch. It was exciting. We scored 3 goals, 3 good goals, I thought as well, especially the third one. Um, and coming back from being 1-0 down from a yet another Bielik own goal. I love Christian Bielik, but he
That
loves an
was
own goal.
hilarious. That was right in front
Yeah,
of us.
it wasn't as bad as his press, the one he scored at
Yeah.
Preston about a year ago, where he just bullet headed it into his own net. Um, but no, coming back from 1-0 down to come back and win 3-2. Sam Vokes, obviously scoring ahead at the end, Sam Vokes. Um, but I thought second half we really turned it on, and that third goal, Willemsen in particular, I loved that goal. I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah, I thought he had a really good game actually.
Yeah, I thought so. When he came on, I thought I seen Clara at centre back coming in for a little bit of stick. Obviously came in for Sanderson who was suspended, but I think once him and Bielik click, that could be a really lethal centre back partnership. And I think already with Chris Davies, you can tell. I know he was only there for like a year, but he's got a bit of the Postecoglou style about him, if you know what I mean, in terms of how he plays and that kind of high press, high energy, high risk, high reward football. Um, And yeah, it just makes me excited. If we have plenty of away days like that this season, I'm in, man. Honestly, I think it's going to be exciting. We'll have painful ones as well, but I thought it was just an exciting, fun game, and yeah, I don't know. I was really pleased with the
Well,
game at
you
the end of
have
it.
now won a third of the matches you won away from home last season already. So,
So if we win at the weekend away at Leyton Orient in all competitions, we'll have won as many games away as we did last season because Charlton in the cup as well.
oh yeah, yeah,
Um, so yeah, I'll take it, man. And yeah, it's great. Like at the end, Bielik and Chris Davies at the end, fully like embracing the fans and getting them all fired up. And I think people just enjoyed it. Yeah, so I was really pleased. And had fun mocking you all game, so that was
yeah,
nice as well. So, some great limbs, and yeah, I know we said last week the Brandon Keller goal in the goal of the season competition. Now, I think the Willemson half volley runs it close as well. The reaction time, um, was to I think it was May's initial shot. Who had the second shot? I can't remember who it was, but it fell back to Willemson, and he's just caught it perfectly, and it's gone in top left corner. Beautiful goal. Um, yeah, and side note, I thought Ethan Laird was so much better this week. I thought he had a rough game against Reading, but he was a lot better this week. Obviously got an assist for the first goal for Alfie May as well, who's already got 2 goals. So every goal we've scored this season in the league has been scored by a new signing as well, which is really encouraging that they're all getting off the mark. Luke Harris as well, scoring the second one, and Japanese signing Ayumu Yokoyama, sorry, um, looked an absolute live wire on the left wing when he
yeah.
came on as well.
He caused the
Um,
Wycombe right back so many problems, and I guess he gets the assist for the goal. As soon as he
mm,
picked the ball up and started running at him, you knew that he was gonna get past
yeah,
him.
yeah. So that was terrific. Really impressive cameo from him. So yeah, I'll take it. 3 word match review. We're bringing it back. Proper away day. Grade. Give it a. Obviously, we conceded a couple of silly goals. I'll give it a B plus. B plus. Maybe a little generous, but Chris Davies first win in the league as a manager. First away win of the season. First away win I've been to since in a couple of years probably. So yeah, that's my verdict.
Man of the match.
I will say man of the match. I'll give it Alfie May. He worked his socks off. I thought like 31, he presses really intensely. I was really impressed with him. Got onto the goal. Um, yeah, really impressed. If Yokoyama had been on for longer, maybe I really was excited by his performance. But yeah, I'll give it to Alfie May. But yeah, I'm just yeah
I did
very
have
happy
one
on the
one
whole.
of the more weird footballing experiences uh in a few years at half time actually.
Mm.
So we decided to go get a drink and some food at half time. See what Wycombe Wanderers had to serve up. There's no actual food or drinks in the stadium. We had to leave the stadium, go back into the
Oh yeah,
car park,
right.
and the beer tent's there, and they got the tellies and everything, and then just strolled back into the stadium. It was really weird.
I noticed you were
Uh,
gone for ages, like because I could see like where
yeah,
you were the only 2 people on your row for
yeah,
context.
yeah,
I didn't notice you were gone for ages, but yeah,
yeah.
that
And
explains a
also,
lot.
we have to walk across the tunnel as well from where we were sat. So when all the celebrations were, we had to wait for Christian Bielik to fist pump the away end so he could get off the pitch before I could get out the stadium. It was really annoying.
Smart, a nice one. But cool. No, good away day all round. Add Adams Park to the list of stadiums I've been to as well. So yeah, very nice. So that was away day at Blues, but obviously it didn't end there. Well, at least it didn't for you. I had to shoot off to get back to Birmingham, but you stuck around to watch the Villa play West Ham away to open your Premier League season. So how'd you get on?
Yeah, I mean, it was nice being sat in the beer garden, phone on the table, sun is out. Nice way to sort of end the day watching the match. Um, I think I think I said last week, going into the season how um maybe wasn't sure how excited I was for the season to start. As soon as the team sheet was out, and we were still in the stadium when the team sheet came out, I was ready. At that moment, I was like, right, I am ready for the season to come back. And yeah, we were fantastic for the most part. We started really strong, scored after just like 4 or 5 minutes. Amadou Onana on debut. one of the reasons we bought him is because of his height, his physicality to help us both attacking and defending set pieces, because it was a real weak area for us last year. Scored straight away. So, and we had the lead, and we really should have been 3 or 4 up by half time. Morgan Rogers had a good chance. John McGinn had a good chance. Ollie Watkins had a half decent chance. Leon Bailey hit the post where maybe in 5 or 6 weeks he gets that chance. He puts it in the back of the net. So it was a little bit frustrating then when we conceded a relatively soft penalty. I'm not sure if it really is a penalty or not. I think it's very soft. I understand this sort of referees call, umpires call sort of view on the VAR from it. I can see why it's not in the threshold to overturn it, but I just don't think it's really a penalty because Cash does get the ball and then they just sort of fall into each other. Good penalty from Lucas Paqueta, and then we were under a little bit of pressure going into half time. West Ham all of a sudden sparked into life. They caused us a few problems. Martinez made a couple of good saves. Not riding our luck, but we were certainly under quite a bit of pressure in a game that we'd been cruising in, and going in at 1-1 was maybe a little disappointing given that it was easily the best we had played in probably since the first half against Chelsea at the back end of last season. We were very, very good. West Ham were obviously going to be a bit more competitive after the break. We were there or thereabouts. It was pretty even, really. Ollie Watkins came off after 60 minutes. That was his first minutes since the Euros final. He hadn't played in pre-season, so it's probably going to take maybe 4 or 5 weeks for him to start getting the full 90. Depends, maybe. Obviously, we've got an international break in like 2 weeks for some God knows bizarre reason. So which it might be annoying that he might go in that England camp, because we could probably do with a couple of behind closed doors games with us rather than being sat on the bench for England. But yeah, John Duran came on, Jacob Ramsey came on, Ian Matson came on. All three of them really, really good, really impressive. I thought Jacob Ramsey looked so much more like the Jacob Ramsey of old. You can tell that he's back to full fitness. You can tell he's had a full preseason. I really hope we can find a way to get him and Morgan Rogers into the team, because man, that would be quite exciting to watch. But yeah, Matson, Ramsey, and none other than John Duran at West Ham scored the winner. Absolute scenes in the away end. It would have, West Ham away, I think, is people's one of their least favourite away days of the year, just because of the way the stadium is. It's not a football stadium. And the away end sort of splintered. But yeah, it looked like a very good away day indeed. And John Duran's actually in very good scoring form for Aston Villa. He obviously scored a couple against Liverpool in the penultimate game of the season last year, and now he scored in the first game of this season. So the kid's got talent. Just if he can just keep his head screwed on, stop listening, let his football do the talking. He'll get that big money move if he really, really wants it. Probably somewhere better than Chelsea, and West Ham. So, but yeah, a little scare at the end. Ezri Konsa made a really good block to deny Thomas Souček, but yeah, a lot to hope for, and another reason why pre-season means absolutely nothing. Because we were crap in pre-season, really. We never played well. Who cares if you play well in pre-season? Because it don't mean anything anyway. This is when it mattered, and we got 3 points. And I went into the game maybe worried that we after a couple of weeks we could have no points and people will be tearing their hair out. All of a sudden, I cannot wait for the Arsenal game this weekend. Regardless of whether we win the game or not, the whole complexion of that game has now changed because we've won on the opening day, a place we haven't won at since the 10-11 season. So yeah, a great away day, a great way to start the season, and I am very, very excited. Grade, I think I will give it an A. It's been a real bogey away day for us. We played easily the best football we've played in months. So yeah, tick boxes all round. Man of the match, Amadou Onana. Absolutely fantastic, especially on debut. I think he's the sort of player that maybe you'll see. I'll be honest, in that Everton side, I was a bit 50 million we paid for him. I was like, Not sure. But maybe he's that sort of player that with better players around him in a better team, in a team that doesn't play the Sean Dyche hoofball, you'll actually see how good of a player he maybe is. So that's one to keep an eye on, and one that I'll be interested to keep an eye on because he's only had one game, but it will be interesting to see because you do see that with players. I remember like when we sold Idrissa Gana Gueye to Everton after we got relegated. I was like, I don't see it. The guy's crap. And next thing you know, he's getting a move to PSG. So, um, grade. I've done grade. 3-word match review.
Yeah.
Great away day.
Oh, you stole mine. You stole mine, pretty much.
Yeah.
Um, that's the episode title sorted, I guess, probably, or near
Yeah.
enough anyway. But no, fair enough. So what? How did you feel about like Durant? I didn't see the celebration. Apparently, was he doing a bit of badge pointing? Was there any of that goal? Any of this going on? Pointing
It
at the
was
ground. Pointing
pointing
at
at
the
himself, pointing at the ground, and then there was also a little bit of a like
right,
double
right.
palm, sort of like I'm sort of sorry, or I don't know.
Sure. Are
It's
you
hard
having
to say.
that?
Him doing I'm sort of
Yeah, at
staying
West
here.
Ham doesn't
Yeah,
work.
yeah. I was gonna say,
It's
are
like,
you staying at the London Stadium or are you staying at
yeah.
Villa? You're still in that unknown. Um,
So what's going on with him now?
well, he's got the
Is
number
that
9 shirt
off?
now, so I think our sort of policy this window has been maybe apart from Martinez, Konza, Watkins, maybe and Jacob Ramsey, maybe McGinn. Pretty much any if a good offer for any player has come in this window, unless it was one of our absolute key players, we're happy to let them go. And that'll be the same to the end of the transfer window. If somebody wants to pay the 40 million that we want for John Duran, he will go. If somebody wants to pay 50 million for uh, Al Torres, he'll go. That's sort of the policy. If the right offers come in, we will sell players and try and reinvest it to make the squad stronger. Maybe not get the same sort of star quality, but maybe make the squad better. And we're also bringing the average age of the squad down quite significantly because the policy under Steven Gerrard, even though he only had maybe 2 transfer windows, was to bring the average age right up with the likes of Coutinho, Luca Dean, Diego Carlos, Dendonka. The average age shot up. So we need to bring it back down because obviously if you have young players and you're doing well, you're going to sell them for a profit. As whereas when players are maybe hitting their 30, 32, we're never going to make a profit on Luca Dean. He's on big wages and I actually really like Luca Dean, but we're never going to be able to sell him for the money that we paid for him.
Yeah.
But yeah, John Duran, if he's wearing a Villa shirt, I will support him. I think he needs to focus on doing his talking on the pitch. And when he does that, we can, I understand he may be frustrated that he's not the main man, but there's a way to do that. And that's to put the ball in the back of the net every week when you come on and play well and have an impact. And, if you're showing that to Unai Emery, he'll maybe give you more minutes because he can say, I can rest Ollie Watkins because I know that you're reliable. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see. I mean, like I think I said last week, him doing the "Come on, you irons" on the Instagram live was stupid. I don't even know why he was doing an Instagram live anyway. But that be what the kids do these days.
Sure. Sure.
Um, but
That's
yeah,
a good episode title as well, actually.
yeah. So yeah, if he's got the Villa shirt on and he's scoring goals, that's fine by me.
Fair enough. Shall we move on to a little bit of housekeeping? If that's okay with you, Cal?
Yeah, I mean, I have one little thing, which is Aston Villa are now doing legacy numbers. So I remember Tottenham did this maybe a year or two ago, and so it's coinciding with our 150th anniversary. Um, so yeah, every player who's ever played for Aston Villa Football Club now has their own unique legacy number. And the
Oh,
one I'm
really?
sure you're all intrigued to know is Eric Jemba Jemba is 779.
What's
So.
Enkelman? What's Enkelman?
Let me find it. So he would have made his debut around 2002, wouldn't he? So, um, where would he be? No, Scott Carson's 801. So,
Oh, blimey. Okay.
Yeah, so Kostin Nedeljkovic, who made his one of the few debutants this weekend. So when he came on, he actually became the 1000th player to ever play for Aston Villa.
Oh wow.
So which is a cool one. Oh, here's one here. Cyril Regis, 672. Um,
What's
uh,
Chris Sutton?
or he'll be around. One at a time here. Where is Enkelman? Oh, there he is. Enkelman,
Why? So
700.
what, on the back of your shirt you can have like the number 9 million, 900, not 9 million. You can have like 900 on the back of your shirt.
I don't know if that. I know. So Tottenham, when they did it, so when Son Heung-min, every match shirt for him on the back of the collar will have his unique legacy number, and then it'll say like Son
Oh,
7.
okay.
I
Okay,
don't
okay.
know whether Villa are doing that because obviously on the back of the shirts this year is the AV 150. But I would imagine that every player's getting sent like I don't know, like a nice wall plaque or something.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Um, who was the other one you wanted to know? Uh,
Chris Sutton.
Chris Sutton. Um, oh, he'll be around. Right, we're almost there.
About
Marlon
2006
Harewood,
ish.
Mustafa Salifu. Oh yeah, here we go. Chris Sutton, 793.
Get on it,
For
kids.
two players later, the legend himself at 795, Gebor Kiraly.
Wow. Like, was he a keeper?
Pajama
Yeah,
trousers
yeah.
himself. The
Yeah,
sack of spuds on his legs.
was he at West Brom as well? Yeah. I think he was.
Fulham? Was he at
Kieran.
Fulham? I think he was at
Fulham,
Fulham.
yeah, Fulham. Sorry, yeah. Very good. Cool. That's Villa housekeeping then.
Yeah.
Yeah, very brief on Blues as well. League Cup second round next week. We have drawn Fulham at home, the J Stansfield derby. We're playing 8 o'clock live on Sky on a Tuesday night. For anyone who can't get down. So yeah, we'll be live on Sky. For you, hopefully we can keep progressing, but Fulham looking like a pretty good team this year, with a few good signings and so on. But will be interesting nonetheless. Speaking of which, Jay Stansfield, let's get on to some very quick transfer rumours. Looks like the Stansfield thing, obviously Blues have been linked with a possible return to Blues on a permanent basis for Jay Stansfield. Considering he came on in their opening Premier League game against Man United on Friday night, I think it felt unlikely anyway. I think it's officially gone now. It looks like he's going to be staying there at Fulham. And I'm not surprised. If he wasn't going to be staying at Fulham, there must be a host of Championship clubs in
I
for him.
saw him linked with Stoke a few weeks ago.
Yeah, he's
But
certainly good enough. I don't get me wrong. I'd love to see him come back, but I don't. I just don't see it just yet. Anyway, maybe someday. But
he's more than good enough to break into that Fulham starting 11, really.
yeah,
Raul Jimenez is not the player that he was, and Rodrigo Muniz will his hot streak at the back end of last year continue because his loan spell at Middlesbrough the year before was dreadful.
mm.
So there will be
It,
opportunity for him.
I think maybe not in a striker role, but like the more advanced role as well. There's maybe the argument that like Smith Rowe's coming now and like he's going to be ahead of him and so on. But no, I don't think his future lies at Blues. Otherwise, there's been no real incomings or outgoings with Blues. With what are we into? We've got about 10 days left of the transfer window, 10, 12 days left as we're recording. But yeah, we haven't had any incomings or outgoings since we last did an episode. But a few players that have been left at the matchday squad. George Hall's not been included yet. Neither has Ramel Donovan. There's been a few rumours suggesting that they may be off, which would be the rumour for George Hall is that he may go out on loan. I find that a little bit odd. In both cases, I would have thought a year in League One would actually be ideal for both of them. I know George Hall's quite injury prone, but I suppose the problem with us is we've got such a huge squad now and so much depth. And in League One, you're only allowed 7 on the bench rather than 9 in the Championship and the Premier League. So I can kind of see the logic of it from that perspective, I suppose. Dembele is another one, been linked with the move away, and Koji Miyoshi as well, seeing as actually Keshi Anderson and Luke Harris and Emil Hansen were the three starting behind Alfie May on Saturday. So we'll see what happens. I would love to keep Miyoshi just for I think in League One I think he'd be terrific. Dembele, I could see why we'd sell him. Obviously, I'd rather keep him, but I can see why we'd sell him. Hall and Donovan would be a little odd to me, but again, with only 7 on the bench, like you got to keep all these players happy, and I understand you can't just throw money at the wall. Probably going to have to, if we had a good offer coming for them, I would understand why the club may want to sell them. But yeah, that's kind of it. That's kind of it in terms of transfer news, really. On the Blues front.
So let's look across the West Midlands then. So
Yeah.
might as well touch on Wolves first, since they're in the Premier League. They started away at the Emirates, as we said, 2-0 defeat. Expected really, nothing special, nothing
Yeah,
nothing
it
out of the
was
ordinary.
no, it's kind of them game, the opening home game, opening game, sorry, I should say in general. Arsenal away, it's probably not a bad one to get out of the way, let's be honest. It's going to be one of the hardest games of the season. I don't know if you saw the highlights. They signed that lad on loan from Celta Vigo. His name's Strand Larsen. He had a really good chance at 1-0 to equalise. It was a header, but it was a great save from David Raya
Yeah.
to keep it at 1-0. But the big story that's came out over the last couple of days, speaking of Arsenal goalkeepers, I don't know if you saw that apparently Wolves have made a bid for Aaron Ramsdale on loan from Arsenal. Obviously, there's been the weird sort of Raya Ramsdale goalkeeper battle, and apparently Wolves have been linked with him. It looks like I know Arteta goes on about, oh, he doesn't really have a number one keeper and so on, but I think it's quite clear Raya is his number one. Let's be honest. Um,
Yeah, you don't have a number one goalkeeper, but David Raya plays every week.
yeah, exactly. I understood
But
it to start with, but like now he clearly is the number one now.
yeah, and
I don't know what you
and
think of
it's
that.
so
If
important for Aaron Ramsdale to be playing football because he will lose his England place,
yeah,
and especially at the age that he's at as well. The problem that he's got though is that there's not many clubs in the that were finished in the top half of the table last year. He doesn't get into many of them sides.
mm,
So a move to a Wolves or a Bournemouth, it's probably as good as
mm.
it's going to get, really.
I could definitely see the appeal for him for a loan move. The question is, will it suit Arsenal? Will they want that? I don't know who the next Arsenal keeper in line would be to come up, but it'd be interesting to see if Arteta's like is his will he back it up and be like, no, I want two strong keepers. You're staying. This is what I want. If they let him go, it kind of undoes that message, which always seemed a little bit tenuous anyway. I'd imagine he just wanted a better keeper. Let's be honest. But if they do get him, he's a really good keeper. I think he could do a really good job there. And it would kind of remind me of, I know he's older, but it reminded me of like when Joe Hart came to Blues and just completely showed what a great goalkeeper he is. I know Ramsdale is older and more established, but I think, I wouldn't be shocked if he went to Wolves and absolutely smashed it.
But ultimately, if Arsenal want to sell him, he needs to be playing football if they weren't going to
Yeah,
recoup the fee and or make a profit. They paid 30 million for him. They won't sell him for 30 million. Probably, maybe they would get 30 million in this market, but you know, I mean,
yeah,
Man United can't sell Scott McTominay for 25 million, and although
yeah,
Spurs have
yeah.
got 25 for Oliver Skip, so I don't know how that works out, but
Yeah, where's he gone? Has he gone to Leicester, has he? On a
yeah,
side note, yeah. But yeah, no, it'd be interesting to see, and I think it'd be one of their bigger signings of the summer. Uh, they signed a right winger from Braga, Rodrigo Gomez. He made his debut as well on Saturday. But other than that, I think the story of Wolves this summer has been like sales. Obviously, they sold Pedro Neto to Chelsea and Max Kilman to West Ham. So I think Wolves fans are probably hoping for a big incoming, to kind of spruce up their transfer window.
yeah.
And
Although I did
Ramsdale
see
probably would
that,
be that.
yeah, I did see John Percy tweet the other day, and that's almost as reliable as anything you'll find.
Mm,
That incomings for Wolves are very much based on extra outgoings
sure.
because obviously they spent so heavily when they first came up. They're in bad financial trouble. Even selling Kilman and Neto isn't enough for major incomings. So a loan makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah, one to keep an eye on that one then, the Ramsdale situation. As I say, only really the last couple of days that story's broke, but keep tabs on it. Shall we move on to West Brom? They played Leeds in, I think it was the midday kickoff, one of
It
the
was,
midday
yeah.
kickoffs in the Championship on Saturday. Just me thinks like West Brom Leeds, that should be like one of the biggest games of the season. Playing it on like the second weekend feels
Yeah,
kind of
it's
odd.
but then
Um,
I guess that's the same as like Chelsea Man
yeah,
City on the opening day, isn't it? It's like
true, true. It's just how it is, I suppose. By all accounts, a dreadful game. By all accounts, I think it was something like it took 50 minutes for a shot on target. I think there's only about two shots on target all game. It very much sounded like both managers came out afterwards and were, quite happy with the point. Um, as I say, two of the teams that, especially Leeds, are going to be right up there this season, and West Brom are used to being up there. Um, so they're probably both uh, happy to take a draw. They probably see it as a point
yeah,
gained off the other one. Especially for Leeds, who conceded 3 goals against Portsmouth in their first week in the league, and 3 goals at home against Middlesbrough in the League Cup in midweek as well. So I would imagine them in particular probably pretty happy to be a bit more defensively solid. Um, the only other real thing of note from the game was West Brom did a minute silence for two former West Brom alumni at the start of the game, Craig Shakespeare and Kevin Campbell, who of course both passed away recently. So that's a nice gesture from them. Um, no real transfer updates for West Brom since we last did an episode as well.
Coventry had a dramatic Friday night
Yeah,
against Oxford United, who I tell you what, for the first two games of the season, Norwich at home and then Coventry away, seem to have adapted and handled the pressure pretty well. But they were unfortunately on the losing side to Coventry, who needed a very late winning goal from I think it was Hadji Wright.
it was.
Uh,
Yeah,
so that's got Coventry up and running this year as well.
yeah. I
But
think as well. Oh, sorry, Karen.
yeah, I was just gonna say it was a great little game.
Yeah, it was a 96th minute winner. So Hatchie Wright got the first and the third. I don't know if you've seen the third goal as well.
Yeah, I
It's
have. Yeah,
like
it's a
it's
really bad
class, just
mistake.
class.
But it's a bad mistake though as
It
well.
is,
But he does
but
really
I
well.
like for a last minute winner that must have been because so it's the defenders tried to play a pass back and he's just completely underhit it and Hatchie Wright's intercepted it and he's carried the ball, took it round the keeper and passed it in. The nerve on that guy to decide to take it round the keeper in the 96th minute when he's 1-on-1.
Because most of them
It's
will just
got to
hit
come
it.
off. Yeah, it's got to come off. But fair enough to him. Like, I mean, that's he absolutely can be their main man this season. I think because I know Oxford have only just come up and it's their first season at this level in 25 years. But as you say, they beat Norwich, and we could have a bit of that. You remember, like when Blackpool went up to the Premier League or
Yeah.
Huddersfield, that Plymouth last season in the Championship, like that initial bounce to start the season. I'd imagine it will tail away, but there was nothing to be underestimated, especially at this stage of the season. And also their second goal, Oxford's goal. I don't know if you saw that one as well. It's like such a Championship stereotype goal. Not like Coventry could have defended it better, but the cross has come in and an Oxford player's dive, like it's a diving header, but instead of it, he's obviously trying to shoot with it, but instead it's just hit one of his teammates and gone in off them instead because it's going way off target.
Yeah.
I thought that was a very funny championship goal, um, very EFL. Uh, but yes, Coventry up and running. Obviously they lost to Stoke last week, so their first home game they'll be much happier with that. And I expect big things of them this season, so that was a bit more like it from them. Um, just a quick roundup of a few of the other teams in the West Midlands. Solihull Moors beat Maidenhead United 2-1 at Damson Park in the National League, although both teams scored an own goal in that game, so that's pretty unusual. Alvechurch beat. The story here is that three non-league teams, Alvechurch, Bromsgrove, and Redditch, all won this weekend as well. So the mystery of Tim Flowers, he's still in the job. Redditch United beat Bishop Stortford 1-0. So don't worry about Tim Flowers. He will not be looking for a Midlands club near you soon to move to. He's going to at least be the Alvechurch manager for another week, you would think. Although we never quite know with him. But in sort of those lower leagues, not to chuck Walsall in League Two with like a Southern whatever league Redditch are in. Walsall in League Two. Yeah, that's really disrespectful. Sorry. Alongside Redditch, Walsall. No, sorry, Walsall fans. I didn't mean it like that. Because I certainly didn't mean it like that because Walsall, I don't know if you've seen this, Cal, have had an unbelievable start to the season. They
Well, they
are
have
top of
signed
League Two.
the best player of the EFL,
Charlie Lakin.
Albert Adoma.
No, so that's where I was going. Yeah, so Walsall have won both their games. They are top of League Two at the minute after two games. So get excited, fire up the bus. Walsall fans. So they've won both games, and Albert Adoma did score at the weekend. He scored their fourth goal away at Shrewsbury Town. By all accounts, they were excellent. And yeah, so they've got Albert Adoma, formerly of Villa, playing for them, and also Charlie Lakin, who played for Blues a bit under Gary Monk a few years ago. So let's keep an eye on them. Be really interesting to see how they get on this season. And obviously Matt Sadler used to play for Blues. He's just started their second season as the gaffer there as well. We're playing them in a few weeks actually in the acclaimed Bristol Street Motors Trophy. So be interesting to see how we fare against them. And that's our roundup of the Midlands teams elsewhere.
Right then. The next week, big weeks. So double game week for you, or is that the following week?
It is a double game week. Yeah, we've got a couple of
Fine.
double game weeks coming up actually.
I mean, it's going to
And
be
yeah, we'll cover
not
them both.
endless double game weeks for Birmingham City.
Yeah, just a bit, in like 7 cup competitions this year. Where do you want to start then? Do you want to start with Blues or with Villa?
Go chronologically if it's double game week.
Yeah, of course. So Blues have got we're away at Leyton Orient on Saturday, third away game in a row in all competitions.
You are going, I believe.
I am not as it stands,
No.
unfortunately. So I couldn't get a ticket in the away end. And Leyton Orient have preempted the home fans. So they've limited it to. So our mate Will, for context, lives down near Leyton. So similar to what we did with the Wycombe game, we plan to do
Yeah.
a similar thing with the Leyton game. So I was going to go down. Um, but as it stands, I basically cheekily tried to look in the home end to see what was going on. I was like, whatever, I'll sit in the home end. It's fine. It's not like sitting in the home end at Millwall, is it? I'll
Yeah.
be fine. But Leyton Orient Twitter put a statement out saying it's now been limited to only fans with like a registered membership before like the weekend. So I'm assuming what has happened is they're having a huge influx of Blues
Yeah.
fans buying tickets,
Yeah.
which wouldn't surprise me. So I probably shouldn't be too surprised. Bit annoying. Well done to anyone who did manage to get a ticket to the game. Uh, Equally, if you've got a ticket and you can't go all of a sudden, hit me up because I'll take it off you. So as it stands, I'm not going, but I'm still going to go down for the weekend
Yeah.
and make a weekend of it. In fact, I'm going to see you on Sunday actually
You will
again.
indeed.
So that should be good. So no, currently as it stands, I'm not going, but hopefully that changes. Leyton Orient have lost both of their games. They lost to Charlton at the weekend. Hard start to the season for them though. To be fair, Bolton, Charlton, and Blues is a really hard opening 3 games, and it was a 92nd minute goal they lost to away at Charlton at the Valley as well. So they've started pretty poorly. They finished 11th in League One last year, so they are like a mid-table, lower League One side, I reckon, this year. And I think we're just going to keep on rolling. I think momentum is good. We will have some shock results this year. I'm sure of it. We will lose to a Shrewsbury, to a Northampton at some point, and it could be this weekend, but I just don't think it will be. I think Chris Harris will. Chris Harris? Who's Chris Harris? Chris Harris was in Top Gear. Is that who Chris Harris is? Who's Chris Harris? Yeah.
You should go top gear. Are you not thinking
Yeah.
of Neil Harris of Millwall as well, are you?
No, no, no. I don't say Chris Harris. Chris Davies. I reckon he'll keep it mostly the same. I think I wouldn't be shocked if Anderson keeps his place. Williamson went off, it seemed, was with an injury at the end of the Wycombe game. But if he's fit, I would love to see him start because I think once he gets fully going, I think he'll be excellent. I think Hanson's done enough to hold his place. And yeah, I can't wait to see more of this team gel. And I think I'd be interested to keep seeing Clara. I'll get there eventually. Him and Bielik, I'd be really interested to see what their centre back partnership blooms into. But yeah, I'm going to say 2-0 Blues away at Leyton Orient. And yeah, hopefully I can go because I'm all in on these like new away days. When, Callum, little pub quiz, when do you think we last played Leyton Orient? I want a year. I want a date, a month and a year off you.
Legal Cup.
We'll go. So there's 2 separate answers. So the last one was in the cup. So have a guess in general.
Weirdly, I could tell you the last time you played Blythe Spartans, probably. But
Oh yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Um, let's go for 2015.
Oh no, you're way off. 2002, October
Off.
2002, we last played them at all. That was in the League Cup. We won 3-2. But in the league, we last played them in December 1994. So we weren't even born. That was at home. We won 2-0 in the second division. So yeah, it'd be a first trip for 99% of people there, I'd imagine. Probably never been to Leyton Orient before. Um, so yeah, that's us this weekend. And you've got Arsenal, haven't you?
We do have Arsenal. Something I'll just quickly throw in here now is, of course, tonight is the PFA Player of the Year awards. Ollie Watkins has arrived, as you can
Oh
see.
dear.
So I wonder if, well, I doubt Ollie will win PFA Player of the Year for the previous season, but he's in the top 6. So
Yeah, can't
that's
argue,
that
unfortunately.
is one heck of an achievement. We'll see
Yeah,
where he maybe ranks in that top 6 because it's obviously voted by the players, not by pundits
yeah, true.
and things like
Yeah,
that. So
absolutely.
he could, I think he has a good chance of maybe making the top 3. I assume Phil Foden will win it. So but yeah, we'll
Not
see. I don't
Rodri. You don't think Rodri? I
but
suppose I'm bringing in like the Spain thing as well. This won't be judged on that, will it? Obviously.
no, the votes would have been made before the Euros, you'd think.
Yeah.
They will probably be the top 2 though. I mean, the
Yeah,
last time Man City didn't lose when Rodri came back in the team. So,
yeah,
um,
yeah.
but yeah, the last time Manchester City lost was against Villa in the same week that they beat Arsenal at home, who we have this
Mm.
week. So we obviously did the double over Arsenal last year. Unai Emery, Emi Martinez against their former club. Um, yeah, I don't know what to make. I think it's gonna be a really good game. I think it's gonna be a really, really good game. First home game of the season, semi under the lights because it's not quite the clocks haven't quite changed yet, but the game will finish under the lights. But yeah, I expect a really good game. I expect it to be close. I expect there to be goals. We still don't look like we've addressed the issues of keeping not being able to keep clean sheets from last year. So we'll see. We did keep 2 clean sheets against Arsenal though, so um, it's hard to say. But Bukayo Saka tends to have a half decent record against us. But yeah, it's funny. If you'd asked me a week ago, I'd have said, yeah, we'll probably lose this game. And now we beat West Ham, and I'm like, we're gonna get something. I'm gonna maybe go for a draw. I think
All
a,
right.
a score draw, 2-2. Um, I think it could be maybe a bit like the Liverpool game at the end of last year. But ultimately, if Arsenal are really going for the title, they cannot afford to lose to us this weekend. It's only game week 2, but Manchester City will not drop many points this year. It's probably not the best. It's not really it's probably one of the top 5 away days they would not have wanted to have done on game week 2. So I wonder if maybe a bit like the game at the Emirates at the back end of last year, where they could not afford to drop points, meant they dropped points. So, um, yeah, I'll go for a 2-2, but I'm really looking forward to it. Back at Villa Park, yeah, I'm buzzing.
Yeah, I was gonna say because currently you've been to more Blues games than Villa games this season. That must be very odd. As
Oh,
a
I was
Villain.
in the home end. I've been to, I bumped into
That's fair.
another Blue Nose who I know in the pub before the game, and I was
Hmm.
like, "Oh, what are you doing here?" And he was like, well, "Wycombe away. What are you,
What are
what
you
are
doing
you
here?
doing here?" And I was like,
Yeah,
"I'm at
yeah.
home."
We were chatting to a man called Chris who runs the We Are Birmingham podcast, definitely one of the best blues podcasts. And I was telling him about like this, and obviously you were like sat there. I was
Yeah,
like very quiet when I was explaining it. I was like, oh
yeah,
yeah, so Callum's a Villa.
yeah.
Surrounded by blues fans. Because it was a mixed fans pub, but it was like
It
mostly
is,
blues
yeah.
fans. Um, but no, it was a bit of a lovely pint there. It was very nice. So that's very good. Cool. On to our second game. We're playing. Yeah, we probably won't get another episode in before it, so we'll just mention it now. Fulham at home in the cup. Unfortunately, I don't think I can go due to commitments, but yeah, gonna be tough. Fulham, even they'll make changes for sure, but I think they'll be good this year. I think Marcus Silva. I think now that he's actually been able to stay at a job for a while, I think he's proven what a good manager he is. I
Yeah,
think
it's
they've
fourth
recruited
season
well.
there now, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, something like that. But I think they've recruited well. Stansfield will probably play, so it'll be interesting. I hope I'm sure he'll get a good reception. So that'd be nice. Uh, I think they're a good team, and we'll probably make changes as well. And it'd be good to see. I think Ryan Allsop will probably get to play another game, and be good to see. Because I think we can afford to make a lot of changes and not actually be that much weaker. So I'm interested to see some of the rotation as well. I'm sure they will do that. I think we probably will lose like 2-0 probably. I remember the last time we played them when they were last in the championship, and I think did they beat us 2-0 that night as well. I can't remember what season it was. Might have been, how long have they been up for now? A few years. So it'd be like the Bowyer season maybe. And I remember Harry Wilson was literally like Pirlo against us. He was like prime Busquets against us. He that was like the level that they were at as that championship team. And it'll probably be something similar. I think their golfing class will clearly show. I think they'll unfortunately beat us probably 2-0. So but hopefully not. Hopefully we can spring a surprise. And as I said, it's live on Sky for anyone who can't get there. So do check it out.
And Jay Stansfield is definitely going to score against you. You might as well put your bets on now.
Sure, but he won't celebrate. I hope.
I didn't say
Please,
that,
please.
but death, taxes, and former Villa and Blues players scoring against Birmingham City.
Oh yes, that is very, very true. Cool. Shall we wrap it up there, Cal? Because I
Yeah.
am roasting in this room.
Yeah, and we've been
It's
going on for at least an
yeah,
hour. So,
probably.
yeah, if you have enjoyed this week's episode, last week's episode, remember to like, subscribe, 5-star reviews. We're closing in on 300 YouTube subscribers. So if you are currently watching at this point and you aren't subscribed, please hit the button. Any comments? We always see them. And yeah, I guess that's kind of it, isn't it? So
Yeah, man.
I'll catch you next week, Dan. I will see you actually on Sunday. So until then, up the Villa.
Shit on the Villa, keep right on, and see you next time. Take care.